Na, 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 na. When you're ready. Hey, everyone. How's it going? It is the real Randy Chavez coming at you today with OMI is my homie number 86 with my co-host Crypto Rain and Doctor of Stuff. Can VeVe and OMI save the NFT world? We will discuss that among other things later today. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. And yes, Happy New Year. It's a new year, new us. Same old us, but we'll be having a lot of different guests on the show at some point this year. We'll have some celebrations. We have some milestones we'll definitely hit. I don't know what we'll do for our number 100th show, but that'll be 14 weeks. So that'd be sometime in late March. I'll be pretty excited for it. Anyway, aside from that, let's welcome our beautiful audience. Abe, it's always first. Bill Gardner saying what up. Might get Bill Gardner. Maybe we'll get him on at some point as well. We got to wait for certain things. Anyway. How y'all doing this fine evening?
Well, life is good. I'm a little under the weather. I got attacked by a cold. It's attacking me.
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty good.
If I go off camera, I'll be like totally blowing my nose and saving the viewers from having to watch that.
We appreciate that, Rain. We appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm even thoughtful once in a while.
There's Kuma, that is the winner of the last charity auction event that Guido Turtle Golf had put out, where I was the prize in, along with VeVe Magic for Orlando. And they were going to do something again for NFT Paris because Guido's just an amazing, amazing person that loves to do charitable things. Unsure if me and Magic would have been the prizes again, but it was just something that was going to be done. And then we all found out at the same time, us and VeVe, we and them, that NFT Paris was canceled. A lot of it just because of uninterest. I don't know if there was just a lack of funds and misappropriation of that. They put this on for years, so I don't think there was any corruption. I just think there might have been, again, maybe less vendors. We've been in this bear market for 4 years. People had less money, and I think there's a silver lining in there. But before I get into that, I do want your guys' thoughts on what this means for the overall NFT market, good or bad for VeVe, and then just general thoughts. We'll get into it.
Well, it's been a long bear market. So what people don't realize is this whole idea of a 4-year cycle. Like 2013 to 2017 was really the first 4-year cycle. So 2021 was just a hypothesis by myself and a few other people that would continue with a 4-year cycle. And coming this time around, it's like a hypothesis that it would be a 4-year cycle again. And it's been 5 years. And there's a lot of reasons. Really, the altcoin boom correlates somewhat with Bitcoin going up and then it cascading into altcoins. But all of it more directly correlates with money supply growth. So global money supply, if you look back at the charts and you overlay it with the altcoin boom, it tracks really, really high. And we haven't had that big money supply growth, but we are going that way. And unfortunately for people who launched in, last or in 2021 or 2019, like it's been a long bear market and some didn't have enough reserves for this crypto winter. It's like you go in thinking winter is going to be 6 months, and you farm and you store up a whole bunch of stuff. And then it lasts 8, you might go hungry and die. In fact, so a lot of companies probably have, well, we know more than normal have died. And especially this last year, they've just run out of funds. So, I mean, that's bad. The bad news, the good news is with that, the ones that survive, because it's been so delayed, it's like a rubber band pulling back. And you pull that rubber band farther, it's going to go farther. So those that survive, I think you're going to have an amazing, massive upside. But if you're running NFT Paris, you might not have had enough vendor support to hold it. So makes sense.
What about you, Doc? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's anything nefarious that occurred. I just think that there isn't enough vendors there to really make it a sustainable event this year. And I think that speaks to how tough it's been in the market. There still isn't overall a lot of NFT interest. And we're seeing that. I mean, look, you've had Candy, like DC has just bounced from vendor to vendor, or partner to partner, and it's just not. Those companies aren't making enough money to sustain themselves, and this has definitely been a longer cycle than people thought. Because we had 2 4-year cycles, and so people thought it was going to be like that again, and it just hasn't been, and so. Runway for a lot of these companies has run out, and they're just closing shop. And so I don't think it's bad for VeVe because I mean we just had Leonardo sell out, right? I mean VeVe is still has some drops that they're doing where they're selling out. Now they're not selling out everything, but they're still making money there, and they're still dropping some awesome IP, and they still have the interest there. And so listen, I mean what happens is that people then are migrating to the projects that are still around. And so if they were in DC, they're like, well, all we've got is VeVe right now. And so I'm going to go back to VeVe and probably getting some things there. So very interesting to see. I know that I've seen, some spike in VeVe users. I'm a master again. I got a notification that I was a master. Listen, like
Nice.
Yeah, like I'm close to level 100 here. And I was in a master for probably the last year, but I just got a notification yesterday that I was master again. So shows that there's more people coming in and using the app. And maybe it was the drop with Leonardo. I don't know. But overall, not bad for VeVe. It's not good for the space, which I guess would be not good for VeVe overall. But directly impacting them, I don't think so.
A couple things I do want to bring up. Immediately, I heard from a couple of people, they're like, oh, VeVe's not, or NFT Paris is canceled. This is not good for VeVe. And I just wanted to kind of quell that and just say that, well, it's not good for the overall NFT market because that means, in general, the health of NFTs are not that great. Despite, you have people like Raoul Paul saying like, hey, art is the upstream of wealth. There's a lot of collectibles. You have Gary Vee going on and saying that, hey, a bunch of these NFTs are going to be collectible, but that's still going to be a very, very small percentage of all of the NFT market, and he's correct with that. I remember it reminded me of, I think, Super Bowl of 24, when Ford did a electric vehicle commercial, spent like $6 million for it, and as a result of that, all of the Google searches were for the Cybertruck. So Ford spent $6 million on a Super Bowl commercial for their electric vehicle, and as a result, everyone was searching the Cybertruck. So I feel like in that same breath, you're going to have other companies that are going to advertise their version of NFTs, and I think Pudgy Penguins might help. This is just one example where they got their community really rallied around the fact that they partnered with Kung Fu Panda, which is great. They have a bunch of movies. I think they have a TV show. A lot of kids know those movies. And again, I think that's good for the space, but we already have that. And I think that as people search for something, let's say like Kung Fu Panda NFTs, yeah, Pudgy Penguins will come up, but so will VeVe. And I think that's going to happen with stuff, or whoever is next to buy Candy, if they choose to buy it. But again, in the spirit of to piggyback off what Doc was saying, a lot of these other companies are not going to make it. And where does that lead? I mean, VeVe's probably going to absorb the rest of some of their fans. I don't know what happens in the long term as far as acquiring other IPs or acquiring other companies that have those IPs. I think that the reason why some of these other companies got bought out before was because of the IPs that came with them. But why would VeVe want to do that now when they could just talk to the IPs directly and say, like, okay, we don't need to spend $10 million on this company. We just talk the IPs, back the truck up. Something else I wanted to mention, I forget what it was. But anyway, that was for NFT Paris. I also like that VeVe now no longer has to spend, I don't know, $30,000+ going to Paris, maybe 50,000, depending on hotels, flying people out there and stuff. I'd because I don't know how much benefit they get from these events. Lisbon, I know, was incredible, or I've heard was incredible by multiple people, you guys included. And that's where they did sign up a lot of people, really with the OMI token, because it was a crypto event. They got people to use it. They thought it was great. They got a lot of signups from that. But from New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, and Vegas, they're all fun events, and it's great for community building, and it strengthens the bond, and it keeps the whales, keeps them spending. But I don't know how many new people are there, and if it was worth spending the money that we spent to go there for those new people. What do you guys think about them saving money and reallocating it elsewhere, and where would you like to see that money spent?
Advertising. Just kidding. Yeah, I think VeVe should spend that money advertising on the Omi is My Homie show. That'd be great. Really, like NFT Paris closing down, like a lot of these NFT projects are just trying to get by. And so they don't want to go out and spend $50K trying to represent somewhere where they're not going to get the bang for the buck, because probably the number of people turning out is much down. Like, they're just trying to survive now, and it's smart. So makes sense. That also allows VeVe to save that money so that they can allocate it towards what I'd like to see is continued improvements on the app and getting new IPs. Like, that's what I need from them.
What about you, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, right? Like, I love the in real life events. I've been to as many as possible. And I had several people reach out to me and ask me if I was going, because they were going and wanted to see me there. But yeah, I think that the fact that they couldn't get enough vendors shows that it probably wouldn't have been the best, bang for their buck going there, that there's just not a lot of interest overall. So if their intent with some of these events is to really get new eyes on it, you want to go to bigger events where there's a lot of people. And if there wasn't going to be a lot of people, then it's probably good that it didn't happen. Now, from the in real life meeting up with a VeVe fan side of things, like, that sucks. I know that there's a lot of people looking forward to that, but yeah, where can they spend their money? I mean, maybe securing more IP that was lost to Candy, and going out there and getting some contracts there. Because I think that if they're getting that IP and it's on VeVe, that's another way to get those eyes from the users that were on those other platforms. And now we're like, well, I like this stuff, and now it's on VeVe. So yeah. I would think that would be a good way to spend that money.
Great point.
Yeah. Before we move on to our next point, Turtle Golf was saying, Doc, how many MCP points to be master? He's at 3,700 and Diamond 1.
Let me tell you what I'm at.
3,700 a day, probably.
I'm at 5,600 a day. Damn. And again, I barely got bumped up to master again. So I'm level 97. I've probably got around 2 months before I'm at level 100, something like that.
Sweet. So some of the new accounts here, I don't know how much are new accounts and how much are old accounts that had previously sold everything, but anyone that was a level 1 through 0, or I'm sorry, level 1 through level 9, which you're level 1 as soon as you start the account, they got airdropped David and Dan like a Christmas tree or New Year's thing. So it was 26,743 people had technically made their first purchase in the week between I think the ending on January 2nd. So like December 27th to January 2nd, whereas only 61 new accounts had made their first purchase the week prior. And then when you take a look at the active wallets on December 29th, you had over 13,000 active wallets. And then on December 30th, you had almost 24,000 active wallets. That was really just from the airdrops. I think most of that was probably old accounts that had sold everything, but they were still eligible for that airdrop because they were at least 1 through 9, or they could have been a level higher. And this does account for new accounts that have been made that hadn't purchased anything yet, but they were still level 1. There were apparently 70,000 of those, which is or 70,000 of those airdropped to people. What's your account value? Okay, you don't have to answer that if you don't want to. Moving on. Moving on to the next point that I want to go over here was the IP. So there was a post that was made on X a few days ago talking about, look at these, 8 to 10 NFT projects, and these are the ones to watch out for 2026. Some of them that I recognize, they were like Claynosaurs, Moonbirds was there, VeFriends was there. The ones that weren't there were like CryptoPunks and Bored Apes, because those are so big already. Everyone knows who they are. But it was VeFriends, I think Moonbirds, and Pudgy Penguins were like the big three that most people knew of. And Pudgy Penguins, they're all penguins. They're all different versions of this penguins. Moonbirds, same thing, just with birds. Gary Vee, I think, had the advantage because he's got a whole bunch of different animals, at least 26 of them, where he goes in and he just gave animals personalities. And so he's got more of them. He's got the IP. I don't know if you guys are familiar with alphabet lore, but I wish VeVe would do something with the alphabet lore. This group of people took the 26 letters of the alphabet and 10 numbers, 0 through 9, and they just gave them personalities. And it's like huge among kids. Some of it's pretty funny. What I wish VeVe would do is something similar. Now, they had a $30,000 sellout with their own IP, I think, on Christmas Eve, which I was very surprised at.
I missed that. I was so bummed I didn't get I missed that. I was super bugged, actually.
Do you think the IP of David and Dan, because they have a bunch of them doing a bunch of things, do you think that's enough, or do you think the IP that they have licensed is enough, even though it's not theirs, or do you want them to create characters, like give personalities to the V and E letters or FUD letters? I feel like they're missing out.
That's not my thing. I mean, having them give personalities to the no. I mean, yeah, that's not my thing. What I really liked, I've gotten to know Dan and David. I really like them, and so collecting their stuff, and especially because it's so limited, I think that's what also adds value to it. I don't want them to flood the market with more and more stuff. If they make that kind of like rare and things, and then those editions limited, I think that will keep the VeVe fam pretty excited about it. And so, but yeah, I mean, we've got the different VeVe logos with the different colors and like each category for those different colors, that makes sense. But yeah, giving them personalities and stuff. And listen, maybe I'd feel differently if I'd seen that, like what you're talking about, but I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
Gotcha. What about you, Rain? How do you feel about VeVe developing their own IP, or do you think their David and Dan drops are like enough, and they don't really need to build their own because they have so many others?
They could. I don't know that the V and E is the way to go. I've loved the David and Dan stuff because in the community, we do love the founders of it. So, and those are really fun. They're kind of cartoony caricatures of them. So I thought they were really cool. I'd like to see more VeVe stuff, but it's as long as it's like well thought out and it makes sense. So like the gold and silver logo was great. Then they ran and did a whole bunch of other logos, which have some value. And then running with the Dan and Dave stuff, that's cool. I do hope they don't over milk it with that, so that there continues to be some scarcity, because that's part of what we like it with collecting is scarcity, rarity. That you kind of had to be there during that time frame to get it anywhere near that price.
Right.
I got to run, gentlemen. My mind, I'm just not feeling good, but it'd been too long since we had all three gone together. So I took a bunch of meds and jumped on, but I'm feeling it now. Love you guys.
Love you too, Rain, man. Feel better. Sorry, man.
Appreciate it. We'll see you all.
All right. Peace out.
Love you, friendo. Hope he feels better.
Yeah.
So, Doc, do you have a Robinhood account?
Yes, I haven't closed it, but after the whole GameStop debacle where they cost me a lot of money, I took all my funds off of it and I haven't used it since.
Gotcha. I it seems that every couple of weeks or every month they give their users like a little bit of Bitcoin, or a little bit of XRP, a little bit whatever. And I've seen the communities around them be like, get super excited. Like last week they gave I think $1.5 million worth of Bitcoin to their users. Obviously split all across, everyone get like a couple dollars, like they're not getting a ton there. But what do you think about VeVe or Komi doing that, where they're just like, you know what, let's give everyone a couple of gems, or let's give everyone a couple dollars worth of OMI?
I'm like I don't know. I guess I don't know that yeah, I'm trying to process that. Like if I got $2 worth of OMI, I don't think that I would even notice. You know what I mean? Yeah, thank you, Kuma. I met Kuma. I saw Kuma in New York. I didn't get to really chat with him. I was super bummed. I really like Kuma. Good people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, do I think it would be like worth it? Probably not, unless it was on a continuous basis or something like that. Because it sounds like that's kind of like what Robinhood's doing.
Yeah.
So, listen, I mean, when things are going really, really good, and I don't know, maybe Robinhood's making a killing off of a lot of crypto trading or something like that, to where like that makes sense for them. But right now with VeVe, I'm just like, conserve those funds, man. Like I don't think that that's going to get new users getting airdropped $2 worth of OMI. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Good point. Phil says that might cause gemflation. It might. But I mean, like you can't take the gems out. So if anything, it'll just help pump prices.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like when there's more liquidity in the markets, that's when prices go up. So, yeah, the fact that you can't take it out, people would have to spend it, you know. But if it was OMI, it'd be different for sure.
That's true. So 2026, what are 3 things you'd like to see VeVe either accomplish this year or start this year? Things that they've started that you think you want them to finish, that they should finish, or at least make more progress in, or things that they're currently not in, but you want them to start doing?
Well, I think the full migration on the collect chain, like that's got to happen pretty soon. I'm hoping that that's by the end of this month. I would imagine they should be able to have that all done. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see them drop Thundercats. Like they've got the comic books. I would love the Thundercats. I would love that, man. You know? Yeah. And I mean, like He-Man, I was just looking at I was watching Stranger Things. I know I'm trying to catch up. Like I've watched all the seasons, but like it's been a while, and so I'm watching them again, and I'm on season 3 right now. But like in season 2, what's his name? The kid who starts dating Maxine or Max.
Lucas.
Lucas, yeah. So Lucas's little sister, and she actually has like a pretty big part in season 3, if I remember correctly. But she hasn't really yet. But anyways, like her Barbie and He-Man are kissing or whatever. Like, and it just made me think of He-Man and like getting He-Man on VeVe or something like that. But like, I would love the animation where like he's like, by the power of Grayskull, like, or whatever he says, like I have that power. Like I would love that. Like, I don't know, there's still some nostalgic cartoon scenes and things like that with animation that I like would just be epic, you know, and like Lionel being like thunder, cats, ho, right? And maybe you get Lionel and then you have the sword, and when you put him like each one are different collectibles, and when you put the sword with Lionel, then you can do something and that happens. Like that would be sick. I don't know. So I would love to see Thundercats on VeVe this year. That would be epic. And then I would love to do another in real life event at some point, you know. Yeah, Transformers that Transform. I love Starscream. Starscream, I know he was a Decepticon, but he was like actually one of my favorite characters. I really like Starscream. And then I loved, Optimus Prime. Like it was awesome. And then I loved I think his name was Jazz. Right, wasn't Jazz, and Jazz was like he could convert into a boombox, but then he also converted into like another, like a car. Let's see. I swear that was it. Jazz.
I feel like I haven't seen Jazz in the newer movies or Transformers Prime, or if I have, I'm just completely derping on it. Oh, Soundwave. Okay. Maybe Zombie's favorite was Grimlock. But yeah, Soundwave was that was the name. Oh, Shockwave. Soundwave or Shockwave?
Shockwave, like which one was it? Which one? No, but yeah, I think the Jazz, yeah, he turned into a Porsche, but then I thought he also did a boombox. Maybe I'm wrong there. It's been a while, but like, dude, yeah, having collectibles with the Transformers, that would be sick, bro. Yeah, that would be so freaking sick. So yeah, Jazz was the Porsche, but didn't he also change it to a boombox? I swear, but maybe it was just his speakers that he'd play a lot of music or. Anyways, yeah, and then the last thing was that in real life event. What about you, Randy?
I would like to, so be advised that the collectibles originally minted on GoChain, and they're now minted on Immutable X, but they're currently minting all of them over on the Collect chain, so they're actually minted on a bunch of different places. Anyway, 3 things that I would like to see. I would like to see them actually acquire another company, or at least, and they might have already and just been really quiet about it because they're not a public company. We don't know who they've acquired or have parts of. I'd like to see them raise some money, use that to acquire, I would say, a very, very small gaming studio, because that's something that the VeVeverse, and again, it's cool to be in there. It's fun. But I don't see a lot of people spending an uber amount of time in there unless there's really something to do. And you can explore, and you could, there's people got excited when they use the spacebar. Oh, we can jump now. Now we can do like platforming. Now we can make this. So I feel like if there's just a super small gaming studio that you can just, and it doesn't have to be a lot of people, but the fact that they've taken, what is it, 4 years now for the Tengaku Senso, and it still hasn't come out. It's like, bruh. So that would be cool. I would like to, some IP branded worlds that they've been promising since 2022. I'd like to see that. So those are the things that they've talked about, and I would like to see them continue. More Phygital. I think they do extremely well. They've done a bunch with Figpin. I have a couple here. VeVe one and the KFC one. That's another thing. Like, if you got KFC, do Taco Bell, do McDonald's, do Burger King, do.
Can we get the Taco Bell Chihuahua? That would be rad.
Oh yeah, get all the dogs. Remember the Target dog back in the day?
Yeah.
And then I would say, outside of that, the Funko one we did really well with. That sold out. Because the more Phygitals, I think the better. Because like what Pudgy Penguins is doing. They're in stores, they're doing all this stuff, and like they're getting people familiar. Like there's probably some kids that have zero idea that there's a Pengu and a Lil Pudgies. They just like penguins. Like, oh, this is cool, let me get it. And I've seen videos of kids, like there was this TikTok that I saw the other day where I don't know if she was the babysitter or was like her aunt or whatever. It was like when this kid that she was watching, she asked her about this little her blocks, and this girl is like 2 years old, so she's asking her about these blocks, like, oh, like the A has an apple on it, the B has like a bear, and the O happen to have an octopus on it, and she's just like, what is this? And the girl said octopus. Okay, cool. And she says like, but what like is it? Expecting her to say like slimy, or expecting her to say has tentacles, and then she said cephalopod. And then the lady's like, what? And then every single one of the comments are these moms saying just like, that's a YouTube kid. My kid does the same thing. Like they'll tell me shit that I had zero idea about before. And they're like 3 and 4 years old. So I think that maybe not by an animation studio or anything, but and that goes back to the IP, like having something where people make content on it outside of the three of us and maybe like one or two other people on YouTube. I think that's where you go. And in the top 10 brands for boys and girls, like YouTube is like number 7. Nintendo is like oddly number 3 for boys. Anyway, those are some of the things that I've just thought about for 2026.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, definitely a gaming studio. I'd love to do stuff in the VeVeverse if there was gaming. I mean, that's one of the biggest things I think that will really transform the NFT world is when the NFTs can be used in games.
Yeah,
that's why. I mean, that's why I invested in Gunzilla, and I still think it's an awesome game. I think that like the ownership of NFTs, I think it's a brilliant idea, and it just needs to really catch. Oh, Blaster was the boombox guy. Okay, maybe I got those confused. Interesting. Yeah, okay. I still like Jazz though. I still like Jazz in the portion. He's a cool guy. Yeah.
So I do want your opinion on a couple of things. It was reported today that the Supreme Court may ask Trump to give back the revenues from tariff. If that happens, there's not going to be any $2,000 checks that he was promising, like the dividend checks to everyone. A lot of the crypto markets were kind of pumped about that because that would bring a lot of liquidity. It would make the printers go burr, crypto would go stonks. You have that going on, and then you also have Trump saying that the oil from Venezuela will go, he says, to 3 places. 1 is the people of Venezuela, 2 is the people of Venezuela that live outside of Venezuela, and 3, the American people, just because we deserve some of that. I think later he corrected himself.
Why do we deserve some of that oil?
Well, the oil companies that are going to go in there, because they have like 17 to like 20% of the world reserve oil, but they just don't have access to it because they're, I forget, there's one American company that like Chevron that like is able to pump oil out of there, but all the infrastructure is like horrendous. They would have to spend like $100 billion to go in over 10 years, add new infrastructure, add these pipelines and get everything out of there. So it would be like a big job. But just all of these things potentially happening. If the first thing were to happen where Trump would have to give some of the tariff money back, do you see that, okay, that's a big problem for crypto because the people that would spend that money on crypto now no longer get that? Or do you see that as kind of a moot point and it doesn't matter because Clarity Act is going to be passed and other stuff will help it?
Well, I mean, no, I think that would be a big deal. Yeah. As we kind of said, I think that crypto does more than the 4-year cycle. It really just happened. The 4-year cycles just happened to also be when like the M2 money supply like spiked, and so I think that people thought it was the 4-year cycle, but as we're seeing, it's really, and like the 4-year cycle, kind of like the whole Bitcoin halving thing, and I think that we're seeing that that's not the case, and so if everyone was getting these $2,000 checks, that increases the liquidity, which would increase the prices of stuff. I mean, crypto in general, because let's face it, man. It's been crazy. One of the things, so I live in Utah, right? And been working with some economists on kind of the cost of living in Utah compared to some cities out in the West. And it is insane how much the cost has gone up. And so you look at a lot of people that are getting out of college or, they're just graduating and they're starting. And, when I graduated college, it was still pretty feasible to buy a home. But now, man, like,
what year did you graduate college?
2008.
Oh, what was it easy to buy a home because the prices of homes?
Yeah. So if you had a job, like, listen, there's a lot of people who unfortunately lost their job and liquidity was tight. Banks weren't lending as much, but like if you had good credit score and you had, a decent down payment, like you could get a house, you could get a nice house. But even like I still didn't buy my first house until 2013. And then like even then, like it was very feasible. Like my first house was a townhome, okay, like just a starter home, and it's like 2,900 square foot home, townhome, which is bigger for a townhome. But like in Utah, that townhome, like brand new, it cost me 220 grand, right? That same townhome, the very same townhome, is worth 500 and something $1,000 here in Utah now. Where I'm going with this is people graduating college, they're like, the likelihood of them being able to buy a house is so small. And their thoughts are like, I need the like long shot, right? And so crypto is that long shot. Throw this money into crypto and maybe like it does some multiples and it gets me closer to being able to buy something, right? Like, so losing that 2 grand would be a big hit, honestly, to the crypto markets, I think, in general. Now it'll be interesting to see, like, I haven't seen that, why the Supreme Court is thinking that he may not be able to keep those tariffs. Maybe they said that it was like a unilateral decision that he didn't have authority for or something like that. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be good for the crypto markets. Yeah.
We've had some very wild statistics come out talking about why. So I guess divorce in 2025 has been on the decline, and you would think that with all that's out there, like it would be on the up and up, because you see like the red pill community, you see like the OnlyFans girl, and like just a bunch of cheating and all that. But I guess it's because a lot of people now are not getting married at 21, 22. They're getting married at like 28 to 32. I went to a wedding this year where I think both people were in their 30s. They were like 30, 31. And I think you have this interesting dynamic of when, like, let's say the people that have expendable income, we'll start there. Like those are the people that are on OnlyFans that are subscribing to girls. They're like the older, I think out of the 160 something million men in America, like 80 million of them are subscribed to some form of OnlyFans. And it's like, okay, well, who are the people they're subscribing to? And it's like, well, out of I think there's like 10.2 million girls that are on there between the ages of like 18 and 24. And it's like, okay, well, that's like 10% of those girls. And it's like, damn. So you have this interesting power dynamic where back in the day, like everyone was kind of just like poor. Like growing up, you were just like, okay, 18 to 24 or 18 to 22, you still don't have like a good job. You're going to school, doing whatever. But everyone was kind of equally poor. But now that 10% of the girls that are on OnlyFans are making this money, the guys are still poor, and the girls suddenly have this like, a lot of net worth. And I'm just curious to where that leads, because we haven't seen the consequences of that yet, and to where that goes. Do you suddenly have trophy husbands instead of trophy wives? I'll just sit there and look pretty, and now like let the girls make the money and let the guys just play video games or something. I don't know. Very crazy.
Listen, I still think that women in general want high value men. And so just because he's good looking, if he doesn't add a lot of value, that relationship's not going to last long, right? I don't know, maybe some girls want the beta male, but like those type of women, I feel like are too much in their masculine, and that's not for me anyways. And I think that those OnlyFans girls are not necessarily in their masculine, or that, so I don't think that we're going to see a lot of trophy husbands, to be honest there. But do we see maybe a lot less marriages, where, I think marriage in general is on the decline. And, man, I could go into the whole thing about just like the state of the world and the messages that men and women are both getting and how that's impacting marriage. But we'll save that for another day.
Copy that. Turtle says, it seems like having Mr. Beast feature VeVe AR collectibles would be the pinnacle of influencer marketing. Agreed. That said, what would it look like for a creator with millions of followers take the lead? I have no idea. We're talking about 2 million followers? Because we had Andre Jick. He made videos years ago about VeVe, and I think it helped. And then everything kind of went kaput, and he hasn't made any videos since.
Yeah, listen, I think I've talked to a lot of people that actually said like they heard about VeVe through Andre Geek and are still in the community this day from it, right? Like they've gone through all of this bear market and stuff, and they're still going strong. So definitely influencers with a lot of followers have an impact, you know. But VeVe did do a partnership with the guy with millions of followers recently, right? Like in November, I think.
Oh, the new Rockstar guy, but that didn't really give us a lot of new users. I think it's still too early for marketing because it's not a great market.
Yeah, it isn't. It's not a great market. Listen, like, you know what also was happening when Andre Geek was starting to talk about VeVe is that all of the collectibles were starting to go up in value. And that, like, because he started really talking about things in like, and maybe my timing is off, but I remember him starting to talk about things in like April and May. And I believe May is when the Todd sold out from the store. And then from there, the prices started to go up. And then they announced Marvel, that they had Marvel in like June. And then, like, you know, there's real interest there and things started to go up. But like, I'm telling you right now, that is the best marketing that you can do. Like, is to have the value of the collectibles go up, because then people, it's word of mouth, and then people jump on. I brought on a lot of people, and that was one of the things that I said. I was like, listen, I swear, it's like you buy anything, if you land anything, you're going to get more than what you paid for it, if you want, you know. And yeah, like if / when digital collectibles become mainstream, that's where I think a lot of these VeVe stuff, man, it's going to be, because you have all of these people who have different nostalgic fandoms, right? And so something that I might not like really care about, right, but I went for anyways, there could be a freaking 100,000 people who are like, I freaking want that so bad, and are willing to pay for it. And but yeah, digital collectibles have to get mainstream. And so spending, now if you did Mr. Beast and Mr. Beast really went at it, now I can't even imagine how much that would cost. Like, it would cost so much money. Like, yeah. He brings in more. There was this thing where I'm trying to remember. He was talking about these advertisers coming to him and asking him for things, and like he quoted this price, and they were like, they balked at it or something. And he's like, I bring in more views than the Super Bowl. Yeah. I'm just going to start doing my own stuff then. You know what I mean? And that's what he's done. He's built, you know, Feastables, and he started to build all of these different things and advertise that, because, I mean, you know, he just has that following. But, bro, I'll tell you what, if Mr. Beast really started talking about VeVe collectibles all the time, we would have a massive influx of users.
So it's real easy to be loose with other people's money. But I wonder, if we played the thought out, what would happen if David and Dan gave Mr. Beast like 5% of the company? And, you know, maybe, I don't know how much that would be worth. I'm going to guess millions, maybe even, you know, if they were worth 200 million, that would be, you know, $10 million. But then he would be super incentivized to go in and bring his audience to VeVe. Then you can get dispersions of cash. Then you can get, I mean, he's incentivized to do so. So I wonder if do you think that would be a viable option, or is that like too complicated, too risky? He might just say, hey, thanks for the company, and then not do anything with it, and then cash out the next time, you know, if they get bought out. Because I mean, again, like he made, have you tried his chocolate bar?
Yeah, I've tried a couple of the different flavors. Not a fan.
But it's the #1 chocolate bar in America.
Yeah.
It's not because it's good. It's because it's got 1 billion followers.
Like my kids talk about it. They're like, we got Feastables. I was like, they're not good, you know? And but they're like, oh, but Mr. Beast, you know, like that's the connection, is that everyone knows Mr. Beast, and so it's cool because they're from him. And so it's not even about the taste at this point. And I was like, bro, do you know how much more money you could have made if you just made these actually taste good, bro? Like, because like, yeah, I bought them because I was interested. I'm like, oh, let's see how these taste. Yeah, like the number one selling candy bar in America. I was like, it's got to be good, and I bought it. I ate it, and I was like, I will never buy this again for myself. But I bought it for my kids because they want it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. You ever think that like, and this is probably so stupid, but you ever think that like, you remember those commercials of like, you know, adults can see, you know, what's on Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but they can't see why kids like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Maybe we can't. Maybe we're too adult now that we can't see why kids like these chocolate bars.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
Anyway, VeVe has burned 58 million OMI in the month of December. I predicted 60. I was off by a little bit. I was through Stacker. In the grand scheme of things, that is kind of a drop in the bucket. Now, I would much rather 58 million be burned than 58 million added, but it's I mean, these are still relatively small amounts. You know, you burn maybe $500 million a year, maybe a little bit more than that, and that's at these prices that are very low. Do you focus on burns if you're a Comey? Because I mean, that's not giving more buy pressure on the token. That's taking them out of circulation, which people can rally around. That's really fun. Yeah, but again, that's not really getting more buy pressure on them. A lot of it is actually sell pressure because now people are forced to sell for OMI, and then they use the OMI and they swap it for USDC. So it does create a bit of sell pressure. If you're a Comey, what do you do for the price?
I mean, I think that they're doing what they can, but part of it is just, you know, outside of new projects that get some hype, like what tokens that aren't blue chip tokens are really doing much right now. You know what I mean?
XRP, like
yeah, but XRP just got news that they're probably going to get a national trust bank.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's a big deal, and they're going to be using their stable coin, and yeah. So I mean, like that's why XRP has done some numbers recently, right? Like there's some real reasons behind it. So listen, if the Comey wants to get a bank, they can get a bank. Maybe the token OMI would shoot up like that, but barring something like that, listen, I think that like right now, like you just got to start seeing the prices go up on the blue chip tokens, and once that starts happening, right, and there's some more hype and money back in the market, then maybe like they make some more announcements or I don't know what else they've got up their sleeve there, but I mean, we just got Kraken, you know, for heaven's sake, and that like pumped and then dropped back down a little bit, but like, what more do we want from them? Like I don't know, you know, like, and I'm not expecting a lot from a lot of the other tokens that I have either. I'm just like, just kind of wait it out because you just need more liquidity in the markets and more interest in it, and once that happens, then things just pump just because.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I am not gonna lie that I'm slightly worried that Kraken has like no volume on it, like 10,000 a day. That's a little surprising, but I guess
10,000 OMI, $10,000.
$10,000 worth of that's not a lot of trading volume.
No,
but I guess when you have actually like Coinbase, even though I know people call it not a real listing because there's no order books on there, but you can still use, you don't even need crypto. You could buy it with USD. You buy OMI there, you have Coinbase Wallet, you have Banker. Like there, if you really wanted it as an American, you can get it. And I think most people have because it's so easy to get it nowadays as opposed to 4 years ago when you had to do 18 steps for Bit4X. So yeah, I think Kraken might have.
I mean, that is a little bit of a problem is that I have a Coinbase account and I'd still just buy OMI there. But to be honest, I'm not buying massive chunks. If I was buying crazy, you know, $5,000 orders, I'd probably go over to Kraken to do it, you know, because then the cost or that price wouldn't have as much of an impact because the liquidity is there on Kraken compared to what we've got through just like the DEX on base, you know. So, but that's kind of like it's just a laziness thing where I'm like, I don't want to go KYC and open up like another account on Kraken to do that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Turtle Golf asks how we get a VeVe builder to apply for a VeVe creator program and get paid. Do we even have that?
I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like a VeVe builder, and so like they make videos, they build stuff, and then they make videos on it and stuff and get paid for that. Like,
yeah, that'd be
I'd
great.
probably watch some of those YouTube videos of like them building the things and like walking through like, hey, this is what I built and why, and like that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Kuma is saying that I think a big announcement would be wasted right now. Might better wait for. I agree, and I think that's why there were no announcements in 2026 or in 2025, and they'll choose to make them this year after the market turns around. Hopefully after the Clarity Act passes and maybe in May when Jerome Powell gets out, we get like something good middle of the year, but we're not 100% sure yet. Orange says good amount of money went to precious metals from crypto sales. A good point. VeVe is a great partner because of Agoro. That is metals for collectibles. Also a partnership that I love. I got a bunch of the Agoro stuff, and then obviously the VeVe and gold logos. Will Gardner never set up an account with Kraken either. Yeah, same. It's very odd that anytime there was a little bit of news from the war in Ukraine with Russia, be bad for markets, or China's gonna invade Taiwan, even just fears of that were bad for markets. But Trump going in and getting Maduro and his wife, people kind of rallied behind that. And then he said, I think it was Colombia, Cuba, and someone else be like, you could be next. And everyone's like really chill with it. Like they're like, yeah, let's go. Like, so why does sentiment care about foreign wars more than they care about the wars that actually could affect American troops? Why is I'm struggling to wrap my mind around the public sentiment.
Wait, I'm not understanding. Like public sentiment of when.
So when markets seem to have tanked, crypto markets, when there was bad news on the Russia-Ukraine front or China invading Taiwan front, but Trump taking out dictators, which I'm not saying was a bad move, suddenly people like the markets are very bullish on that. And then on news that he might do more of these, markets be pumping. I don't understand. I feel like I understand crypto less and less every day.
Well, listen, because like when you get like a Russia-Ukraine war and you're thinking, oh, this is gonna be like, could this be like a global conflict compared to the U.S. taking out a dictator, and like who's gonna strike back about that? Is that gonna be a war? And then on top of that, is the U.S. gonna siphon off some of the oil from Venezuela and get richer? I think the markets are probably predicting that, and I like, not that I think that that's a great or a good thing, but yeah, I think that there's two different outcomes of people are just like this could really, like the Russia-Ukraine thing could really escalate, where I don't think that they really feared an escalation with taking out Maduro or taking out, the dictator of Cuba or some of these other socialist communist countries. So
have you seen some of the videos of the protest of saying like no war with Venezuela, Trump can't be doing this, and then the videos of the actual Venezuelans that are like partying like they got Maduro, like that is wild,
man. Like only Trump could get Democrats defending Maduro. Like this guy was awful. The funny thing is like Maduro was doing all the things that they said that Trump was going to do.
Yeah.
Right. But now they're all talking about how great Maduro was, like, and why Trump would do this, and yet they're saying all the things that Maduro was doing, disappearing his opponents, like rigging elections, all of these things, like that's everyone. Like I just kept hearing that that's what they were fearing that Trump was going to do, and then they take out Maduro, who is actually doing that. And now this is a terrible thing that Trump has done, Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Agreed. So you mentioned Stranger Things before, and you said you had seen all of it, but you're rewatching it. Did you see the 5th and final season?
I haven't seen it yet, so don't talk about it.
I will not. I will leave you. Okay. Let's go to Ash Crypto Real says altcoins have officially broken a 3-month downtrend on a weekly basis. Finally, when Manu came on last month, he was talking about how some bankers were talking about a big downturn in February, March. But now everything I'm seeing on my timeline is about everything being super bullish. And I don't want to let myself get excited. It's like that Mad TV skit of lowered expectations. Like, you won't be disappointed if your expectations are lowered. And I don't want to get excited. Like, I feel like a kid that like, oh, is daddy really coming to see me this time? And it's like, don't get too excited. He's not fucking coming. When do you, that was a little dark. Sorry, guys.
That was dark.
When do you let yourself get excited that we're going to pump? Like, what do you have to see in order for you to convince yourself, okay, it's go time. This pump is for real. Start your engines.
Dude, I gotta see most of my crypto just get back to my entry price. I know. Oh my gosh, man. Like, we'll see. But like, the funny thing is people have been like, oh, like, you haven't been on the OMI's My Homie show, and real life has taken over for me. Like, there's just been some things that like I love this community. I love I love this fam, the VeVe fam. But I've had some bigger priorities that I've had to take care of that has really taken me away. But like, even still, people are like, well, you're just not talking about crypto much. Like, why not? And I'm like, because there's not like anything to talk about. Like, I got a big bag of XRP and it's down substantially, you know? And this guy keeps messaging me and he's like, oh man, you hear the latest news about XRP? And I was like, bro, are we rich? He's like, no. I'm like, are we bankrupt? He's like, no. I'm like, then I don't care. I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like, and so like to a certain extent, I kind of just checked out, right? Where I'm like, I've got my bags and I've got belief, you know, and it's either going to happen or it's not, you know? So what's it going to take for me to really start getting excited? Yeah, probably for my, at least some of my bigger bags to hit their entry point, like where I entered at that price, then I'll be like, okay, things are humming now, and now it's starting to get exciting. But like, I think that's a ways away. I mean, that was a nice pump, you know what I mean? Like, but it's nowhere near even just like where prices were 4 months ago. So I'm not going to get my hopes up like with, you know, a 25% bump after we just dropped like 70% over, you know, 4 months. Like I'm not, you know. So I think that's where I'm at. But like, I do think this is my thesis. I basically, I've told a lot of people that I've been talking about crypto for years. I just said, if crypto doesn't pump, and when I say pump, I mean like a euphoric rise that's crazy in the next 6 months, by the end of June, I don't think it's happening, and I got it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? But at the end of the day, even with as much money as I put into crypto, it's nothing that I can't afford to lose. And so that's also kind of why I've checked out a little bit, you know. I'm still buying some OMI. I love OMI, like, and so I'm like at these prices, I'm still just like this is a great buy because I think long term, if VeVe can survive, OMI, the value of OMI will eventually go up, and I think it will definitely surpass its previous all-time high at some point. You know, and with like even if you can hit a narrative, and we do hit this euphoric rise in crypto in the next 6 months, it could do it then. But even if it doesn't do it, like if we don't get that, if VeVe and OMI are still around just long term and digital collectibles become a thing, the OMI token is going to be valuable, you know. So I'm still getting some OMI here and there, but for the most part, like I picked my projects and I bought in the token, and we'll see if it happens, you
know. Same. We got Kuma saying same here. Back to entry
price. That's when I'll start getting excited because then I'm like, oh, I'm actually making money.
Yeah, back to entry price. We got like millions again. Troy Perez saying, what are your expectations for XR? Long term, XRP is like, I don't know, can be the number 3, number 2. I mean, it's already like the number 4 or 5 token, but it probably goes to, I don't know, trillion.
My thing with XRP, like, it depends on how the XRP token is going to be used. But my understanding is that they have used XRP as kind of a bridge token for cross-border payments, but not just for like dollars to dollars. It's for like purchases of gold or like these massive transactions. And they've demonstrated like the solid use case and how much money can be saved. Now the problem is that we have stable coins now that can do a lot of the same things. So like, do you need XRP to be that bridge asset? I don't know. But the fact that they have a bank that's basically been conditionally approved by the OCC is a very big deal. And once they do that, the connections they'll be able to make to where maybe they can make that bridge token, the XRP, really be a bridge token, could be substantial for the price of XRP. But we'll see. I mean, again, I feel like it's got a decent chance of that, which is why I have a big bag. But I could be wrong.
That's true. One of our other tokens, Affinity, I think is up like 20% this week. They're doing very well. We love them. They posted the other day that 2026 is lining up to be a blast-off year for DEFINITY Network. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little off camera. We've got Tom from DEVVE made a really important, or I thought was a really important comment the other day. I think everyone overlooked. He said that some people get nervous when other companies join your field and become competitors. He says, but what he's realized is that if nobody else is competing in your field, then your field isn't worth being in. So I think for VeVe, it's not that we don't have competitors because nobody's trying. It's just everyone's trying and failing. If you're looking at that text, then hell yeah.
I am.
We got a meeting with them tomorrow at, I think, 3:30. Which which is fine. I have another meeting at 4, so hopefully I don't have to push the 4 one back because I really want to be part of that. Anyway, would you rather, for the NFT space, things to keep on happening like they're going, where VeVe stays number 1, not because there's no competition, it's that competition keeps coming in, they just keep failing? Or would you rather have a super competent partner come in and potentially surpass VeVe, but because of that, they could bring in a bunch of the masses? Because being number 2 and having 10% of a $100 billion market is a lot better than being number 1 and having 70% of a $100 million market. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, if Amazon came in or something like that, or Google, and like they really pushed it and brought in this massive market, like that's what it's going to take, to be honest. That's what it's going to take for really digital collectibles to become mainstream. You're going to have the Amazons or the Googles, the Apples of the world, basically making it a thing and using their advertising dollars and their reach to really get people familiar with and comfortable with digital assets. And so if they brought that in, and then and maybe it's through gaming or something that they did, where they had some major partnerships with NFTs and gaming, and it was their NFTs. Great, VeVe could be second in second place, but people would start exploring more about that. So I really think that that's what's going to happen. I don't think VeVe is going to be number 1 for forever, because if they are, then I don't think that we ever hit mainstream.
Agreed.
Now, that doesn't mean, though, that like once that happens, that within their niche of digital collectible NFTs, that they aren't number 1, right? But I think that people still got to get more comfortable with just NFTs as a technology in general, right?
That's fair. I will do one last question. How do we feel about Neon Ichiban or other digital comic sites? I'm not really familiar with them. Are you?
Yeah, so I have an account. I got some comics there, but like that they airdropped for being like a early user. But my understanding is that we don't actually own them, right? Like there's something about Neon Ichiban. I can't remember. Ichiban.
Yeah, I did a video on them months ago. Yeah, you're right. We don't.
Yeah, we don't own them. So like I was like, once I found that out, I wasn't as thrilled about it. I'm like, I like the ownership aspect of things. So, and then other digital comic sites, yeah, like anything where I don't actually own the collectible or the comic, I'm just not really that interested in it. But like, does that also kind of, is that like a bridge where people can get used to it and they can be like, oh, I can read these comics whenever I want. It's digital, and then it's not far cry from that to, oh, I can read these digital comics, but then I own them. So I think they're useful in that they can basically be a bridge between two worlds.
The issue I see with that is there's a bunch of my friends that are gamers that they are essentially forced to buy the digital version, which is, it's whatever, it's the same price. But then when something like Sony happened, like they say like, oh, you actually don't own this, even though they paid like $70 for it. So they're a bunch, and granted, they're all millennials and older. They're not Gen Z or Gen A. But they're like so anti-digital stuff because of the fact that they get the rug pulled out from one of them for non-NFTs, like just for games. So you do have that. That gets hard to, because it's very hard to argue for me. It's like, if you have something that you own it, like you have on Candy right now, but the overall business just gets wrecked and they go under, like we don't know what happens to those assets on Candy. Like we assume that they're just either going to get bought out or there's going to be a deal worked out. But Jim Lee with Backhouse, like none of these people are communicating that they're going to do the right thing. Yeah. So it's, it's hard. And that'd be bad for the space.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
All right. Chuck Harris, thanks you too. Take care of yourselves. Anything you want to go over before we talk off camera for a bit? Because I feel like we got a couple things to catch up on.
No, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. 2026 is going to be a freaking banger of a year. Like, in so many different ways. I really do think that crypto is going to hit big this year. I think that this is the year. But I miss y'all. It's been way too long since I've been on here. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And I miss y'all.
Oh yeah, I miss y'all too. Everyone.